Welcome to The Insider, where entertainment, sports, and media insiders sit down to discuss all sorts of topics ranging from business practices to emerging technologies and everything in between. On this episode, marketing and branding expert Marc Jacobson joins the show. For the past 30 years, Jake has worked with top sports brands including the US Open, the Orange Bowl, the NHL, and most recently was the head of brand at the now defunct AAF, Alliance of American Football.
Hey Mark, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure. I'm very happy to be the kickoff guest here of The Insider by M2.
We are
It's quite a privilege.
No, and we're pumped to have you. Let's just touch off with your career. So, been a stellar career. We've known you for a long time.
Yeah, I've had a really good run in the sports entertainment business. I've been very fortunate to work with the clients you mentioned, and I like to think that I've seen it all, but this constantly is changing from a branding, execution, communication standpoint.
So what would you say over these past 20, 30 years has been the key to your success in the industry?
You know what? Very simply, relationships. Almost anything you do as a career comes down to the relationships you have. And I've been very fortunate to make sure that I take those relationships so very seriously, and I think people recognize that.
Let's switch gears here now to your latest brand, the AAF, Alliance of American Football. You were there from the beginning all the way to the end. So what unfortunately. Talk to me a little bit about the development of the logos and some of the thoughts behind everything that you guys were doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of, you talk about building a brand. Now, we had a league logo, of course, but people, although they relate to a league logo, they really want to relate to the logos that are within their specific markets. And the strategy that Charlie and Bill Polian had and Tom Veet when we selected markets is to select markets that have a real passion for football. And I think we did a pretty good job of that throughout the country with our 8 teams. So when it came to developing the names and the logos, which was my responsibility, we wanted to make sure that we matched our vision for on the field. Our on the field vision was to put real football out there. No gimmicks, real football. We did change some rules for player safety. So we want to make sure that the logos, from a creative standpoint, resonated and brought that brand essence, ethos, if you will, to the forefront. We started with just coming up with names. So we had 8 markets. We came up with a variety of names for the 8 markets. And we want to make sure that the names you come up with, there's a rationale and a reason, and that it celebrates the area or the region that it's in. We finally, I think, got down to 5 or 6 per market. And then we went to research. So hired a research company to go into that market and set up a questionnaire. So we took that information, what they liked about the name, jumbled it together, looked at the statistics, and probably narrowed it down to 2 to 3 per market that we liked. At that point, we then went to our trademark attorneys. We probably started the entire naming convention and logo development process around December of 2017, and I think we finished our final logo around July of 2018. So I think the best compliment I got, and people took it as a negative, was there was a couple people that said, I remember this vividly, like, man, all the logos look alike. Did you have one person do them? And people be like, could take that as a negative. I took it as a complete positive. We wanted to make sure that every time someone saw a logo from the Alliance, it looked like an Alliance branded logo. Listen, we're trying to build a brand nationally. You want people to know that that's an Alliance, part of the Alliance. But I think every logo had its own unique creative element to it, but they did have a consistent overall look and feel creatively, and that was important to us.
If you had to pick one team, one logo, which one was your favorite?
Wow. I tell everyone, it's kind of like giving birth to 8 kids. Do you have a favorite? I guess there's always someone that has a favorite. I would tell you my favorite was probably because of why we did the name and the logo was the Arizona Hotshots.
That's hysterical, because that's my favorite.
Why? Because of,
I don't know.
Because of the logo or the story, why we did it?
Oh, I love the story.
Well, that's the key.
But I like the logo.
Yeah, the color palette for the Hotshots had never been done before. But the name Hotshots, for those who are listening that may or may not know, they're the most elite firefighters in the world. But the uniqueness, sadly, is we tied it also into the Yarnell 19, which was a firefighting group in Prescott, Arizona, that unfortunately had just been recognized as a hotshot group, and it's always a team of 21. They got dropped into the wildfires, and all of a sudden the winds changed without them predicting it and killed all of them except for 2 people. We called some people in that area to make sure we weren't going to offend people. We weren't there to make a profit on that. We just felt like we wanted to pay respect and tribute to them. And we retired the number 19 this year at one of our games, and all the families of the firefighters were there. So I think everyone really resonated why we did it and understood why we did it was out of respect and tribute. So I think that would have to be my favorite, just based on all the circumstances that surrounded it.
So then the season starts, you guys get on the way, getting good ratings. Some of the stadiums were doing well attendance-wise. I know some struggled. There were rumors of financial issues very early on, some surprise twists and turns, and ultimately the league gets shut down. Talk to me about the end there and what everyone's feeling.
Our goal was twofold. One was always to build great football, put great football on the field. So there was a huge cash burn in year 1, as you expect. So when Charlie was out raising money, one of the investors that he brought on board turned out to be, best way to put it, a financial fraud. And we didn't realize that immediately, but we saw trends as he was missing payments. So Charlie got connected to another investor, and they cut a deal for this gentleman to be majority owner of the league. He said all the right things to us, that we're going to get through the season. He's got financial money, nothing to worry about. And we were proving our product, and we thought this new investor was in it for the long term. He had some different visions than Charlie and Bill Polian have. And I say different in the sense that he wanted to escalate some timing of things, primarily relationships with the NFL and the NFLPA. So evidently he lost patience, and in an email on a Tuesday said that as of the next day, everyone in the organization is terminated.
Would you say that's the biggest disappointment of your career?
There was certainly like, oh my God, what just happened? Our whole vision was a league of opportunity for all of our partners, especially for football players, coaches, to get that chance to hone their skills and get a chance to get back to the big leagues. And I would argue that we were extremely successful in the overall vision and mission based on the 56 to 60 kids that have signed NFL deals. So we accomplished what we had hoped to accomplish on the football side. The business side, obviously, when you're kind of at the will of the investors or the investor in that shape. So absolutely the most disappointed I've ever been in my career.